look at all the parameters, economic parameters, security, peace, prosperity, Nigeria has fared far, far, far better under PDP than the.
But people also accuse PDP of corruption, of being corrupt at the time it was ruling.
But we have come to realize that the APC is even more corrupt than PDP.
Okay, so what are you telling your voters so they can again vote PDP into office?
Well, I will remind them of the prosperity, that PDP brought to the country between 1999 and 2007, and then also the poverty, the insecurity, the instability that the APC has brought since they came into office.
You have said that you want to prevent the country from descending into quote-unquote frightening descent into anarchy. What do you mean by that?
What I mean is that I'm going to strengthen the security agencies in the country. I'm going to have more personnel. I'm going to have more equipment, and I'm also going to devolve more security apparatus to the local governments and also the states, so that it will not be just a federal government affair. It should be a concurrent, area between the federal government, states, and local governments, and that requires constitutional amendment.
The next president will have multiple priorities: growing insecurity, deep economic problems, rampant inflation, industrial crude oil theft, separatist agitation, among others. Should you and your party win, what do you plan to do to tackle this on day one?
We already have laid out, all those areas in our document, which is called My Covenant with Nigerians. And in that document, we have addressed all these issues: insecurity, poverty, oil theft, and so on and so forth.
There has been a lot of reporting around the Labour Party's Peter Obi that he's making significant inroads among Nigeria's youth. That's a powerful bloc to have energized. Does this worry you?
No, absolutely not. It doesn't worry me, because the demography of the youth, varies from region to region, and it is not in all regions of the country that the preponderance of the youth moving towards labor. Maybe in some few areas in the south and southeast.
Should we expect you to go into alliances with some of these other political parties?
Alliances are normal phenomenon in a political dispensation. If there are reasons for us to go into alliances, we will go. For instance, I promise that even if we win overwhelmingly, I'm going to set up a government of national unity, meaning that I will reach out to other political parties to participate in the government, so that we can, first of all, bring unity back to the country, bring stability. Unless you have unity and stability, all the programs you have lined up to implement, you cannot implement them. We have done that in 1999. PDP won overwhelmingly. But because of the circumstances of the situation in the country, we formed a government of national unity. We brought AD, we brought AMPP, and so on. And then I think we made a success of that. So we have the experience to do that.
Okay, now 3 French questions from the French. What are your thoughts on what is going on in the Sahel region to fight against terrorism and the coup d'etats?
Well, my first and foremost is regrettable that Nigeria has retreated in terms of the security of West Africa. In other words, the standing force we used to have, ECOMOG, is no longer in place, and Nigeria is retreating its leadership in West Africa. And I have assured, West African leaders that Nigeria will resume its leadership as far as the security of the Sahel and West Africa is concerned.
This relates to the next question, which says, should Nigeria as a leader play a much bigger role in the stabilization of the region?
Definitely yes. Nigeria has no alternative than to play such a role.
And what do you think about how ECOWAS is handling the regional crisis, and what type of reform would you propose?
I don't believe the ECOWAS is as active as it used to be when we were in office. That's why I said we are going to reinstate, a common force to make sure, first of all, there is no disruption to our democratic gains in Africa, in West Africa in particular, and also we try to use that standing force, to deal with insecurity challenges anywhere they may arise within the West African sub-region.
By the way, what's your take about this American alert warning on terror and the measures they took to evacuate their citizens from Nigeria?
My belief is that there should have been actually a dialogue between the American security agencies or embassy and also the Nigerian authorities, so that there is a common understanding and a common approach. I think that's what should have been the case.
It is kind of surprising that a foreign entity like the U.S. would find out that things are not happening, that the Nigerian security or intelligence community have been unable to discover by themselves.
It's curious, quite all right, because I know there is a lot of areas of cooperation between the American security agencies and the Nigerian, defense agencies. But it's curious that, the Americans decided to do it the way they have, or handle it the way they have handled it.
And finally, from the French, what's your view about the effort to come up with this eco-regional currency for the entire African continent? Is that something you support?
Well, I don't know. Well, first of all, there are two things there. There is the West African common currency,
right,
which we support very much, and which, in fact, I have assured some West African leaders that I will pursue very, very vigorously. And then secondly, there was also the Inter-African trade agreement, which Nigeria has signed, but is not implementing it actively. So our administration will make sure that that is very much implemented throughout Africa.